Hello. This week's episode is an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which is a story written by Ambrose Bierce, and it was produced in France by a French filmmaker and just purchased by Rod Serling's crew and aired. The story itself it's just 9 pages long, so it's like really short, and bit of a tangent. It is really difficult to write short stories. It's easier to just sort of go on and on. It is particularly difficult in some fields. And horror is very, very difficult to write short stories because you need some space and some time to sort of build up the tension of this. You can make it fairly short, but overall it tends to be a longer format. Now, Ambrose Bierce was very, very good at writing short horror stories. Some of this in this book, it's like a page. I've not seen anyone else who've been able to pull that off. So the occurrence is 9 pages long. The episode starts with a freeze frame of a poster about how people messing with the bridge gets hung. It comes off the freeze to then pan up to show the bridge. But it is a freeze. I'm guessing you'd have a slight camera shake if you were trying to hold that shot. Our protagonist, I guess, he gets led onto the bridge and put on this plank with someone standing on it to provide a counterweight. And he gets a noose around his neck. It's not a very iconic sort of Western noose that you see in a lot of Western movies where you have this coil around it many times, and it's supposed to, I think, make sure that it's angled along the back of the head and you can snap your neck cleanly. Hello again, Kat. Second week, welcome back. But this one is not. It's just an easier knot to make. He falls in the water, and then there's some very interesting water stunts. This would probably have taken a while for them to do, because he kicks off his boots and then he gets out of it. It's like all of this stuff. And I'm still rather dubious about the fact that the rope snapped. Rope snap, I get that. But even a mild tug would have, broken at least his windpipe. A rope is very, very thin. When you're distributing forces on a neck. So a very small jolt would still have, inflicted fatal injuries on him. But that's an interesting water stunt. They do it very, very, very well, and then he sort of swims off towards freedom. The soldiers are, of course, not American actors. These are French actors, and you can tell there is some French in their American English. That happens, I guess. Water is, as we know, very, very good at stopping bullets, but he stays mainly on the surface. He only does like one dive. So he's just lucky, I guess. There's a lot of ricochet noises though, so I'm guessing they're hitting a lot of rocks. And the only time when the entire sort of squad is firing at once, they mostly hit a tree. So he's safe that way, I guess. He falls into a rapids and the camera loses him. It looks pretty cool. It follows him very, very nicely and then sort of holds where they expect him to come up. And I'm guessing someone else is watching further down and goes, "Oh, he's over there." And the camera goes, to sort of catch him. But it works. And then he gets onto the beach, someone shooting a cannon at him, and he runs off with no boots. That has to be a bit harder. But I think he made the right decision there to kick his boots off. The gate is self-opening. There's no people there. It just swings open all on its lonesome. And he walks in. And then the final sort of run is a bit weird because she's just walking down and sort of extending her hand. And he's rushing towards her and stretching out his arms. And then he's rushing towards her and stretching out his arms. It's a bit like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Sir Lancelot, I think it's Sir Lancelot. Anyway, runs down this field over and over and over, and they just kind of recapture the same footage. It's a bit weird how they would do that, and of course, he's dead already. It's a sort of the mind does its best to handle the near-death experience of the final moment of his death. So this won the Cannes Film Festival Prize in 1962, and then the Academy Award for Best Short Live Action Film in 1963. And then Cayuga, I guess, bought it for $25,000-ish. And which is cheaper than the episodes they usually do, which is like $65,000. But it could only be aired twice, so it wasn't sent out for syndication, and but it is included on the DVD. It's a very strange episode. It's very weird because it doesn't have any lines in it. But that happens. Next week, we get back to our regularly scheduled and produced programming with the Queen of the Nile. And I look forward to seeing you then. Take care now. Bye.